It's not about a product. I may not even be able to help you, but let's find out first. Like, let's talk and let's get to know each other, because otherwise, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, so don't transact it.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the friend zone. Like, I do not let anybody in. There's no friend zone here. I am not here for you to like my vibe and to love my energy. I want to make an impact. If I don't inspire you to do the damn thing, then bye-bye.
I'm just going to go ahead and jump in and welcome you to the women your mother warned you about. And do you say Brandon?
Brandon, just like the guy.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
So welcome to the show today. As I mentioned, I'm here in the Sales Gravy studio, which this show is sponsored by Sales Gravy and Jeb Blunt. So woo, yeah, we love that. And I've got a Yuli today who is producing us. And you know what I love is that I love that Yuli's been chiming in. And Yuli, if you feel like chiming in at any point, you can, because that's the kind of show we do.
Ring.
Cool. So all the things, here we are, Brandon. Rachel couldn't be with us today because she is actually stranded in Phoenix. I think she may have made it on her plane, but there was some crazy outage in Phoenix, and her plane got delayed, so she was not back on time. So you get me instead of having the blonde with us. So we've got the dark hair girls today. How's that?
I like the dark-haired girls today.
You and me.
I'm excited about that.
Awesome. So as we get started, usually what Rachel and I say is, do you consider yourself a woman your mother warned you about?
Yes. I mean, I'm literally the woman she was afraid to be. So I'm doing it right.
I love it. The woman your mother was afraid to be. I love it. I had one of those mothers too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers to us.
Yeah. And so how would you define it? How do you define that?
Define
a woman your mother warned you about, because there's people define it in different ways.
Right. So, just a woman that stepped into her shit, owned her power, and took control of her future, and stepped out of that victim mentality and took responsibility for where I am and where the fuck I want to go.
Love it. I love it.
That's the thing.
I love it. And before we started recording, I started saying to you, I'm like, oh my God, I love your hair. Oh my God, I love your tattoos. Oh my God, your cleavage is awesome. And you're like, oh, cute. I could listen to this all day.
Oh yeah.
And I speak without a filter, which makes me a woman your mother warned you about. This is a podcast about sales. We are just the women your mother warned you about doing the podcast. And it's interesting because I looked at your website before we got on, and I knew I could say those things to you. And I think a lot of women don't say those things and be like, oh my God, you're gorgeous. I'm just going to say that, right? Like, just stand in that, and then to support other women in that. But you're a mindset coach. So I think a women's mindset coach, which I think is a really cool thing for us to be talking about. Therefore, I wanted to give you that love.
Empowerment. I appreciate that. It's so important. I teach my kids just to compliment women. Find something you like about someone at the register. Find something you like about our waitress. And literally my two youngest, she's 1's 3 and 1's 7. I like your mask. I love your hair. Your dress is so pretty. Like, there's always something. Like,
I love that.
Teach them. It's fun.
And you have six
kids. I know.
6 kids.
And the C-section scar to prove it.
Oh my gosh. 6 kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Youngest is how old?
3.
And the oldest?
Is 19.
Oh,
I threw up in my mouth a little. Sorry about that.
Dang.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wow. You like to keep busy for a lifetime.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Right.
Girl. Okay. So I have an addiction. Some people, it's like heroin, right? Yeah. I was addicted to babies. Like, I'm a natural nurturer. I gave them all the love I never had. It was just this thing. Like, I had this magic little bundle. And then all of a sudden, like, my 2 oldest went to college and I want to die. I'm like, this isn't what I signed up for. Like, come back. You're not supposed to leave, right?
You don't
yeah,
even
it was
look
all
old.
fun and games.
You don't look old enough to have kids in college.
Girl, I'm great with a makeup brush. Like I've been
are.
practicing. I YouTube videos, so I just paint that shit to make me look younger.
Well, I'd love you to come do my makeup because your makeup is fabulous.
Yeah, let's do it.
We're gonna have to actually use the video from this episode because your makeup is so. So talk to me about the YouTube videos. What did you just mentioned that in passing? What's that about?
That's where I learned to do makeup. Like
okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
I don't know how to do makeup. Anything I want to learn, I go to YouTube.
Isn't that amazing?
I don't have to sign up for college classes or go to something. I go to freaking YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube is amazing, right? To learn. Yeah. I'm like, I'll just go to YouTube and figure it out. That's like the thing I go to, and I'm like, okay,
that's
YouTube. How do we fix this problem? I mean, I ask YouTube everything to solve my problems.
How can I make my face look skinnier? Like that. I literally Googled that once, and it's contouring. I didn't know what that was, but I watched some videos and I'm like, dude, I could do this. So yeah.
Well, here's a quick funny story on YouTube videos. So about a month or so ago, I have been slowly resisting the acceptance of my laptop, which is an Apple. I've been fighting it for a very, very long time. But I got it because
not an Apple fan.
No, not really. But I got it because everyone was pushing me, specifically my boss. And the other laptop finally died. And I'm like, okay, I got no choice.
It's time.
I'm going to have to use this Mac that I bought because that's all I got left, right? So I start trying to put files onto it. So I had them on an external hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
And then apparently you have to do something funky to an external hard drive to get it. Like Yuli's shaking his head. I wish I needed a Yuli then, right? So
yeah, exactly.
I can't get the files onto the laptop, so I YouTube it, and it tells me all these things to do. And then don't forget, make sure you back it up to the desktop because you could possibly wipe the drive and right. So I do all those things. Sure enough, the drive appears to be wiped out, and I'm like, what the. And I watched the video on how to do it. And so now I'm like having a panic attack because I was in the middle of a huge client project where I had to do 10 classes for the Army.
Oh boy.
And so I'm like sweating because like everything is crashing. And the 14-year-old boy, who is my boyfriend's boy, is like, did you YouTube it? I said, yeah.
Duh.
Yeah, I did YouTube it. He's like, I go, and I did what the video said, know it all. And he says, did you read the reviews about the video? Yuli's dying.
It's a whole setup.
I was like, read the reviews. Why do I have to read the video reviews about? He's like,
it's a setup.
Not all the videos are good.
Always read the reviews. Don't buy a can of beans without reading the reviews.
Yeah, well, I didn't know I had to read the reviews of a video that was telling you how to. Anyway, he just wanted to have fun, and then he fixed it for me. Nice. Then the 14-year-old came in and fixed it. So anyway, I digress. Talking about YouTube, let's talk about.
You have a really great voice. Like you have like the perfect podcast voice, but like it's kind of hot. I'm like, wow, her voice is like really attractive.
Oh,
like you probably don't even have to really work to have people listen. They just want to hear your voice. Like it's amazing.
Well, that's
just saying.
Well, thank you. And it's interesting because of the kind of work you do. This might kind of segue into this. Several years ago, I had worked with a coach who she was very much into this marketing alignment grid.
Okay.
And I kind of got certified in it, but I didn't really use it. I just went through it because it was about finding what was the best way to market yourself based on who you are, your personality, style, and type. And so when I went through that process, how I was classified was as a truth guide. Like at the time I was doing I do a lot of coaching now, but I was coaching a lot of women professionally in their jobs as entrepreneurs. But as you know, there's a lot of mindset coaching that goes on. So as a sales coach, half of the time I'm doing mindset with them, right? And just like kind of kicking them in the butt. So I go through this marketing alignment thing, and I'm considered a truth guide, who basically is the type of coach that will lead you there. But I'm not going to be a guru coach who tells you do it like this because it worked for me, because what works for me does not work for you, right? So go through that whole thing, and how it turned out was the types of things I should be doing. This is what was pointing out. The types of things that you should be doing marketing wise based on your personality. Mine broke down into anything related to my voice.
That's great.
Isn't that crazy?
It comes through so strong. So yeah, I'm going to blame my own intuition on that. I called it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and it supports it. It supports it. So that actually when I went through that, and I started out in radio in college, I realized, I'm like, oh, all right. Then that's when the first podcast started, was based on that, of how to be in alignment with what's going to attract people to you, right? So tell me about what you are doing as far as coaching women in mindset. Tell me a little bit about that.
So before I started writing books, I was in network marketing and just kind of like taking notes. I wanted to do enough to get to stay home with my kids, and that was it. So the rest of the time I'm just kind of observing, getting my residual income, all the things. And I realized in all my networking, the women that I was meeting, these were like top income earners in other companies. Like, they weren't happy. And I'm thinking, everybody at the bottom wants everything you have, and they think they're going to be happy.
Yeah.
There's a huge gap missing. Like, what's the disconnect? So I actually coached for an entire year without charging. I didn't know.
Wow.
I didn't know better. Yeah. So I was going through this, and I think it was perfect how it all worked out. Just talking to them to realize that we're all chasing the same thing. We're all doing the same thing. And we're looking for that outside thing to just define us, to make us feel like we're successful, to make us feel special. Like we're looking for that paycheck, that rank, that everything outside of us. And so I finally went ahead and launched the Big Girl Business. After book number 4 was out, I'm like, okay, it's time to do Big Girl Business. And that shifted everything. I realized that mindset fucks everybody up every step of the way, no matter what it is. Whether, I coach business women, and you said 50% of the time it's mindset. I'm probably about 70%.
Yeah.
Really, it's 70% mindset. We just have to get the fuck out of our own way.
Yeah.
And that's not easy just to decide to do on your own. So,
well, good for you that, you say you did the coaching for a year for free. And this is interesting because you work as a mindset coach. It's easier sometimes to coach others than yourself, right? Because you kind of grimaced a little bit at, oh, I know, I did it for free for a year. Like almost apologizing for it in a way.
To myself still.
To yourself.
I'm still like, oh my God, you just gave all this power away. And like, yeah, really just to me for not owning my shit so long ago.
Well, here's how I want to prop you up with that. I think we can't regret the types of things that we do because we learn from them. Yeah. Right. So you did that for a year for free, but probably in that process is where you realized you were good at it.
Exactly.
Right. So
and 100%.
You would have probably struggled more. I know in the beginning when I started coaching years and years ago, I struggled in the beginning of like the imposter syndrome part of it. Of like, what makes me good enough to be a coach?
Yeah.
And what makes you good enough over time is the pursuit of mastery, right? The better you get at it, the more hours you put into it, the more situations you run into that you can coach people around based on things you've learned. You put that time in. And someone had said to me years ago, do the things that you love, do the things that you would be willing to do for free. Now, we don't want to do that forever because we're good at it and we should get paid for it.
Right.
But you should choose to do the things that you have such a passion for. I guess that's my attitude. I'm like, when I retire, would I still do that for free? Right.
Yeah.
Right. When I don't need the money.
Yeah.
So, That was just my little thing to you to like, don't apologize to yourself for that.
No, that's beautiful. Yeah. Thank you for that. And I am grateful for it. It's one of those things it's easier to coach other people than to
exactly
see yourself in that mirror reflection of like, I tell everyone all the time, there's no such thing as a mistake. There's a lesson or a blessing.
Exactly.
Learn the lesson, get the blessing, move on. That's it. But
I'm so sad that Rachel's not here with us because last week we did an episode called, I think it airs this week. I'm not sure what day it is today. It's called Win or Learn.
Oh,
Win or Learn. And it's kind of a very seriously toned episode of, things we've been feeling like we've been failing at. And did we really fail or did we learn? So along those lines, let's talk a little bit about your books. So I'm looking at your website, Once Upon a Time Bitches, the Dream Big Bitches Vision Book, the Dream Big Bitches Weekly Goal Setting Journal. So let's talk about this. You're very distinct with your brand, right? And to me, unapologetic, which is a lot about what our show is. Stand in who you are and attract who you want. Like some people might get offended by Once Upon a Time Bitches and others are like, yeah, you. So give me a little bit of backstory on this.
It really... Backstory. I don't even know where to start. We started with 10 years of rejection. A lot of fuck no's. And I was like, okay.
Let's zone in on that because we're talking about selling and sales and it's all about rejection and no's.
Exactly.
Right? So go.
That's where it starts. Like no was the entire journey to yes. And I feel like my publishers alone, right? My publisher is actually the author of Go for No. Which is a very powerful tool if you are in sales, because it teaches you like no is never no. It's just a not right now. It's the journey to yes. It's all the things. It's the experience. It's the joy. It's all the stuff in the middle. So 10 years of rejection, a divorce because of my writing. I was given an ultimatum. That's in my first book.
What?
Ta-da! Oh yes,
What?
girl. We might need to just schedule like another whole show altogether for that.
Where are you in New York? Maybe I just need to get on a plane.
Yes,
I could talk all
cold,
day. Then you come here. Okay. Anyway, continue.
So I love to write. That was my thing. I wanted to write. I was going to be a writer since I was a kid, and queried agent after agent after agent. Nothing ever worked out. And this was like fiction writing. Okay. So I was doing fiction. I was like obsessed with it. I got divorced and with 4 kids, a new relationship, adding 2 new kids to the mix, the writing got put on the back burner. But I was working in network marketing and network marketing is like a godsend for me. It has been so many lessons in everything I've needed in this life of just like personal growth, all the things. So I'm doing this thing and I'm like, man, I want to help women because I'm working next to people that are wishing and hoping and praying that something good will happen for their business. But what's the truth here? Like, no one's going to come save you. You have to save yourself. And then I'm like, oh my God, I just need to write nonfiction. So I went to an event and I saw this guy speaking on stage that I'd read his books. I knew he was an author. So I got the courage to go ask him who his publisher was face to face. And he's like, oh my God, I'll introduce you. No big deal to him, right? I'm like dying and just, should I go talk to this guy? I'm so whatever, he's famous. But so he introduced me to them. And the funny thing is, like I said, I want to write this book that's kind of like Once Upon a Time Bitches. That's exactly what I told her. Once Upon a Time Bitches. I gave her the idea, the premise of what I wanted, of how I want to empower women to save themselves, to stop waiting for the hero. Like clearly the prince in Cinderella is not the fucking hero, right? If she didn't go to the ball, like nothing would have happened. She did the thing. She showed up where she needed to be.
Yeah.
So, but he gets called the hero. So I'm like, you got to become the hero of your own story. Like no one's going to come save you. No one's going to come work your business. No one's going to check in on you and make sure you did your shit today. No one's going to make sure you whatever. And she's like, it wasn't a good fit. It was a no, another rejection. I was like, okay. So it's been 10 years, all these no's. I just kind of felt like at that point, is this that point where you chase something for so long that you have to decide, like, maybe this is the universe telling me to move on to something different. Like maybe I'm not meant to be a writer. So I had that thought for a couple of days, and then I got a phone call. She's like, I talked to my husband about this, and we've been thinking about it all week, and we want a 2-book contract. I went from like getting 1 book published to a 2-book contract to we just published book number 5.
And who is this that published you?
Yeah. Success in 100 Pages.
Okay. I think who's
Andrea Wells.
That's what I thought. I wanted you to say it before I said it.
And Richard Fenton, they're so amazing.
They're so amazing. And she's been on our show. She's actually been on this show. Well, she's been on our show here recorded, but she's also been on our show at Outbound on stage when we did we did a live version of the show at Outbound. They're amazing. And I remember being backstage with her, and she's like, I want to introduce you to someone who needs to be on your show.
Oh my gosh, she's fabulous. Yeah. I love her for the connections. I've met incredible people because of them. And literally, like, I owe so much to them for just taking on my vision and understanding. Like, they knew who I was and what I wanted to say. And they didn't try to change me. They weren't like, Brandon, we can't do this. Like, people are going to freak out. It was like, fuck yes, 100%. Don't dim your light. And they have just embraced the brand so beautiful with everything, cover designs, all the things.
That's awesome. I think that's a really great learning when it comes to the no's and keeping. I just wrapped up a keynote presentation before I walked into this podcast. And one of the things I talked about, we were talking about prospecting and being persistent. And one of the stories I told was about a client that I basically pursued for 12 years that I never got on board with me to, let me train his company. And it took me actually leaving my own company to go to Sales Gravy. And then all of a sudden he's like, okay, let's work together. Right? Like 12 years later.
Yeah. That's how it happens.
But you have to be persistent and consistent, right? To keep pushing through. And I know that if Rachel were here, she'd be having a field day with me and a book that I'm supposed to write that hasn't happened.
Do it, girl. Just do it. Just set a timer, 5 minutes a day. Just do it.
I know.
Do it. But the thing about that persistence that you're talking about that I think is really important people understand is like not persistent with the person. Okay. Persistent with you. Persistent with your actions. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm constantly persisting someone's inbox for 12 years, like that's not the persistence that's going to draw the like I'm all about attraction.
Yeah.
Attraction. I just want to draw people to me. So as long as I'm persistent in what I want to do, like for myself, that just draws people. So it's not necessarily like keep hitting up your friends and family to join your biz, homie. Like it's just be persistent and like, keep doing the things. Do the things.
Yeah. Well, you were in that network marketing for quite some time. So you've seen it, right? Because what you just said kind of triggered me. It's like, come on, these products are good, Gina. You could love them. You could sell them too. I'm like, I'm good.
Oh
but
my
you
gosh.
would do so good at I'm like, stop.
Yeah.
They're all following the same, like get your friends to buy your stuff and then get in your downline and your upline and your sideline. And what a hustle.
Well, I respect it though. I learned so much from it. I still collect the paycheck. I still collect the residual paycheck. It's great.
I love it. And I'm happy that you started working with them because I just think they don't get the support that they should be getting from a sales training perspective.
Oh my gosh, there's such a bad reputation because so many people take it off the rails. And then all of a sudden it's like, it really does not, the way I market my coaching business is very similar in how I used myself for network marketing, right? This is a relationship industry.
Right.
It's not about a product. I may not even be able to help you, but let's find out first. Like, let's talk and let's get to know each other because otherwise, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, don't transact it.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of the friend zone. Like I do not let anybody in. There is a no friend zone here. I am not here for you to like my vibe and to love my energy. I want to make an impact. if I don't inspire you to do the damn thing, then bye-bye.
Yeah.
Like out of my space. I'm not here to make you feel good for 5 minutes and then go back to Netflix and chill for the rest of your life.
I'm the same way as a coach. And
I love that.
In general, I'm also, the new phrase I came up with one day is, I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make money.
Exactly.
Is that bad?
That offends people.
Yuli, is that bad, Yuli?
I say that. Yuli, I want to know if you think that's bad.
I don't know.
I'm here to make money, not friends. Right? Yeah. It's all about the Benjamins, isn't it?
If you help me make money, we can be friends, but.
Oh, yes.
Ooh, hey.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. A little referral business right there.
Exactly.
So what else are you doing? You're coaching, you're doing some social media stuff. Tell me about what else you're doing. Yeah.
So like I said, book number 5 just came out. So I'm in promotion mode. A book is like do you have babies?
No.
Do you have kids?
No.
Okay, girl, then you're going to know what it's like when you write a book. I'll say that. I'm going to tell you that. It's like that. Like my publishers warned me. They were like, Brandon, it's not what you think. Because what do we think? Like our idea is that, I have this great book idea. Some big publishing company is going to give me $1 million. And then I'm just going to sell all the books and people are going to love it. It's like a whole fucking process.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so I just gave birth to the baby. We got Fuck Luck Bitches. It just came out. And so just setting myself up and that promotion thing of like, I want the world to know I had a baby. And when you have a baby, you do. You want everybody to know. You're like, oh my God, I just had a kid. Oh my God, look, my baby's so perfect. And then you just have to keep talking about your kid. So it's a crazy experience.
And here's some words from our sponsor, Jeb Blunt at Sales Gravy.
Hi, this is Jeb Blunt. There's a reason why thousands of sales professionals and top companies across the globe hone their sales skills at Sales Gravy University. You see, Sales Gravy University is different than most learning platforms. First, we have live courses taught in a virtual classroom by our master trainers that start almost every single day. And our e-learning platform is populated with hundreds of hours of sales training content produced by some of the top sales trainers in the world, including Gina's spontaneous selling course, which is worth checking out. Now, I've got some good news. If you've never taken a course on Sales Gravy University, if you're a new user, you can take your very first course for free. That's any course on the platform, absolutely free. Just go to learn.salesgravy.com. That's learn.salesgravy.com, or click the e-learning tab in the top menu at salesgravy.com. Pick out your course, and when you check out, use coupon code FREECOURSE to get that course for free. That is free course to get your very first course for free.
It's interesting, the whole process, because I've stopped and started a number of times, and similar stories to yours where someone introduced me to, this happened a couple times where I've been introduced to a couple different publishers, and then I would give my outline and they'd like, nope, not interested, right? I would get the no's. And then the other thing that was really interesting to learn was, well, you just don't have a big enough marketing platform. We don't do any marketing. You have to do the marketing. And I'm like, what's your job? You're taking all the money for the book and all the things. So what are you people doing? Right. So that was kind of a frustration in itself of like, you have to build that platform in order to get the publisher to look at you. So what is some advice that you can give, which I think would be very transferable advice to sales in general? What's some of the advice that you can give as far as like marketing yourself? I know that you've done some social media mastery classes. What's your advice on that? Because obviously you've had to get good at it to promote your books.
Right. And there's no such thing as like good and done, right? This is a growth game and it doesn't ever stop. Kind of like how it is with coaching people, right? Like you teach them the things and then it's something that they take forever and just continue to grow. Like nobody ever just gets to one level. So I've been very fortunate because my publishers like have helped with that. And I want to say, first of all, it kind of is, it's bullshit. If you want to believe that you have to have a platform to be able to get published and all the things, that can be your truth, but it doesn't have to be. I'm a nobody. I was a nobody. didn't have the huge platform. And in fact, it's the opposite. Like we set this up so that Fuck Luck Bitches actually pushes, you know, my first book out even more. Right. Because people can be like, oh my God, she has 5 books. So then they look at, you know, the recent one, they're like, okay, I have to go back to read it. Yeah. And if you read one of my books, you're going to read them all. They're addicting. So
now I need them.
Oh my God, you will love them. They are fabulous. I'm very fucking proud. Very proud, and I will toot my own horn all day because
awesome.
If I'm not excited and proud, like nobody else is going to be excited and proud for me. Exactly. So, get the books. Like they're fast reads. They're like airplane size. Travel, you take it, you go. Like they're just perfect. But I'm not afraid to be new on any given day. So I'm juggling a lot of hats. Just, you know, the mom hat, the coach hat, the business hat, and now like the marketing hat of like promoting my book, self-promotion. And it really is just a commitment to myself to just keep showing up and give people a landing space to know, you know, when they see my name, like who the fuck is Brandon Lanette? Or to see me and be like, okay, I need to know who you are. Just embracing that I am the brand. I am the prize. I am the money. I'm all the things. So my advice is don't think that there's a set of rules to follow. You don't have to get ready to get ready. You don't have to, you know, have all the things to do all the things, you know? And I have coaches now that I work with, like that are coaching other people that are like, oh my God, I have to get a book. They feel the sudden pressure. Yeah. I'm like, a book doesn't do shit for your coaching. Like it's not. Yeah. You don't have to.
That's an interesting point because this comes up a lot. Like Rachel gives me a hard time all the time. She's like, just do it already. Just do it already. And I'm like, I don't feel the sense of urgency for doing it. However, this is the interesting aha. It's other people saying, if you wrote a book, I would really like, please write books. So it's about yes. Your audience wants the information. They want the information.
And that's where I came from. Exactly. Like, I know that not everybody's going to like it because I have bitches on the cover. People aren't even going to read it. Right. Because I have tattoos. People aren't going to read it. You know what I mean? And I know those aren't my people, right. But I'm also reaching people that otherwise wouldn't read shit like this. Right? Like, people can't relate to Mel Robbins. Some right. people really had it fucking rough. Some people just, I'm like just a whole different arena than like the Brene Browns and the Mel Robbins.
What's the girl? Wash your face, girl. What is that? Wash your face, go to bed. What's her name?
Put me on I can picture her face.
Yeah, I can't remember her name. Why am I blanking? You know who I'm talking about.
Yes.
Right? Wash your face, girl. Something like that.
Yeah. But even if you look at, what the hell is her name? Now that's going to bother me. If you look at even the cover of her book, she's sitting on the cover, right? She fits a whole different profile too. Like, I'm going to reach other people that would not necessarily be drawn to this. Right. Because, they made different choices. Maybe, they cuss a lot. They have the tattoos or whatever it is. Yeah. I just feel like I'm there for my people. And the books have been so loved and they've made such an impact that it's something I'm going to continue to do.
It's awesome. Well, coaching's not always the easiest gig, right? It is hours for dollars. It can be exhausting. It can be hard to scale. So how do you do it? And do you have any advice around it for scaling a business?
Scaling the business. Yes, I learned because of my coach that when I first started charging, it wasn't a lot. And all of a sudden everybody could work with Brandon and I was overwhelmed. And I'm like, there's no way I could coach, 20 people a week. I can't do it. So honestly, the scaling went through price changes. It's all about like, I weed people out immediately with that price. And some people are like, this is ridiculous. But the truth is there's power in that transaction. Mm-hmm. I know what I'm worth. I probably could even charge more. Right. But this is the audience I want to reach right now. So I think scaling, if you need to scale, it's all in the price. Yeah. It's definitely the price. So now there's only 2 ways to work with me. I have a Limitless Rebellion class now. It's an 8-week course, or I have 2 options for one-on-one. And that's either a 6-week class or 12 weeks of one-on-one. So I've limited it down where I know that this is how many people I can handle on my docket and still, you know,
and
be
still
sane.
Be comfortable, make a decent living, manage six children.
Yes.
And
exactly.
I love your website says you're a divorce survivor.
Yes.
I mean, that is a great phrase. I think anyone who's been through a divorce, I mean, there are different levels of it for sure. I know when I was going through a divorce, the thing that I hated the most is when, like, well, in my divorce, I'm like, all right, your divorce is not my divorce.
Exactly. No two are the same. And
No.
I'm 10 or 11 years, I think it's been. He's still like it's day one. It's really bizarre.
Yeah.
I'm just like, we have babies. Let's move on. Let's grow up. Let's do the thing. But no, like I'm saying, like so much anger and hurt and frustration. And I'm just like, man, I thought that we could be friends now for the babies. Right.
Yeah. Right.
But, no, there's a lot of hate. And the truth is it really came down to, like he said, I was getting success in my fiction writing. I got picked up from a company in Chicago. They're like, can you come read at this library event that we have? And he was like, you're not going. Like, he's very jealous, very, all the things. And one day I'm like, I love writing. That's what I want to do. He's like, you could be a writer or you could be married to me. And after you devote so long, like I was a stay-at-home mom, took care of the kids all day, did the things, barefoot and pregnant. I'm like, this is my one thing. It's the one thing I don't want to let go of, right? I don't have friends. I don't have an outside thing. Like, this was the thing I wanted. So it's been such a blessing. It all worked out. I'm grateful for the ultimatum. I did the thing. I showed my kids that your dreams matter. You don't give up anything, especially yourself. I'd already given up everything. And just that's what finally tipped the scales in my favor of figuring out who the fuck I am. Stepping into my shit. It's like, that was going to be the last thing that was taken from me. I would not exist anymore.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think a lot of women go through the things that go, and men too. I'm not discounting for men either. I know a lot of men have gone through, divorce is hard, but it impacts you so much psychologically and emotionally, and then impacts and affects your business. And if you're in sales, it affects your sales. Like, it affects everything to go through that draining experience.
Yep. I don't recommend it, but if it's necessary, girl, do it.
But you were having this success, and the only way for you, and that was some of the advice I got along the way. They're like, you are never going to go to the next level in your career if you stay in that relationship that doesn't support you prospering, right? You want the people around you, whether it's a partner or a friend or whoever, you want those people to actually support you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And not to say, like, I don't want your listeners to like think, oh my gosh, so I have a little resistance with my husband, I have to divorce him. Like, that the little resistance is not the problem, you guys. I'm talking like really toxic. Like, I want to, crush your dreams and make you feel like a piece of shit. Not someone that genuinely is like, okay, starting a business is scary. If people don't tell you you're a little crazy or give you some kind of warning, they probably don't care about you, because it is crazy. Like, oh my God, that's kind of scary. Yeah. Okay. That's normal stuff. That's normal stuff for them to be like, okay, is this really working? Like, all of the things. But it's, if they're trying to crush your dreams and diminish who you are as a person in that experience of like, oh my God, who are you to be a coach? Like, you're not good enough. You're shit. I don't know, whatever.
I picked up on the toxic, and our listeners, they're your people for the most part. If there's some people who are not, then it doesn't really matter. Right. I could pick up on it. You're talking about a toxic situation, like you said, crushing your dreams. There's a difference with people who are like, oh my gosh, that's scary. You're going to be okay. That's different. That is just people who are fearful and stuck in status quo because it's safer. It's safer to be in status quo and not make changes. And they have genuine interest about making sure, that you're going to be okay. And and then there's some people that don't want you to be successful because then it makes them feel less than if they see you be successful. So there's all the things. And sometimes it's a small percentage of us who are the, high performers, high achievers. We're in a very small group sometimes where we're alone because we do all the extra crazy things where people are like,
yep,
I'm going to punch out at 5:00 and everything. I don't know what that is.
I love the balance in my house because my husband now, we've been together for however long I've been divorced. He keeps me grounded, right? Because I want to do everything. I want to do all the things. How much can I sign up for? And then he kind of anchors me back. And it's like, okay, he is that 9-to-5er. Yeah. And I just feel like the balance is so perfect for me. Mm-hmm. Otherwise I'd probably be in a mental institution thinking, I don't even know what, but he definitely keeps me grounded. So I want you guys to know there is hope. There are good guys out there. Yeah. But you have to be good to yourself to be able to attract that. You have to be very confident in who the fuck you are to know that this is the level of love I'm accepting. And it's the level of love you give yourself because no one can come into your life and love you less than you love yourself. That's a fact. Yeah.
Yeah. Amen to that.
That's a fact.
I'm with you on all of that, on all of those things, on the confidence, on the know what you want, on there are good guys out there because I've got one as well who is amazing. Same thing, balances me, knows when to rein me in because I'm a wild child and he's
girl. We're like soul sisters. Mm-hmm. We're connected in that level then because I could just see him hanging on my husband has to do to me just to hang on and pull me back. Girl, pull me back down.
Over the summer, I had a rescue dog that got away and she didn't make it. I don't want to go into a sad story about it, but I was actually at Sales Gravy when it happened and I was in the middle of training and he actually texted me and said, call me. And I called him and he's a police officer. So he's very stoic and just the facts ma'am kind of thing. Hey babe, they found Tanner. I did the things. I just made decisions for you. I hope it's okay. I took her to I was becoming numb. I'm like, what are you telling me? Right. And so he did everything to take care of it. Right. Which was awesome. And then I'm like, can we get a puppy? He's like, no. He's like, no. I'm like, but come on. I'm like, the other dog needs a puppy. He's like, no, she doesn't. Yep. She doesn't need a puppy. She needs to be on her own in her final years because she's 14. I'm like, but I want a puppy. Yeah. No. Okay.
And see, this is the lesson for you is that it is better to say you're sorry than it is to ask for permission. So you bring home the puppy and honey, I'm sorry.
Well, the real positive going back to what you're saying is knowing yourself. Yeah. Right. Knowing who you are, setting boundaries around that. I like that he reins me in because I probably shouldn't have gotten that rescue dog in the first place, which I got to replace another dog that had passed naturally the year prior. And I had a knee-jerk reaction. And he's like, we need to pull you back in so you can think about this properly, which I appreciated, right? You need that. Absolutely. You need that kind of balance. So kind of my point of the story, whether it's any kind of relationship, right? In business, your relationships should be, you want to attract the right people to you. Mm-hmm. You want to work with people that are a good fit for you. You can't do any of that if you don't know yourself and who you are. I know as a coach, I'm sure you feel the same way, that there's only certain types of personalities that I can and will coach. Yes. Right? Or who I want
such lessons.
Yeah. Of who I want to work with. But you cannot get to any of those things until you know yourself well. And the same thing with whatever you're selling, right? So we're always selling ourselves, but whatever product or service you're selling, you need to know that product and service really well. Yes. Then to figure out who's the right audience and the right fit, and then have the right message to go after that, right? Yeah. Eventually, maybe you can help me with this. I do want to write a book about, I don't want to give it away because Yuli might steal it, but I want to write a book about dating in the eyes of selling and objections and messaging, all the things that you would learn in sales. Yes. how do we use that in dating?
Including like, proposing on the first date or pre-cum ejaculation. Like, dude, you just came all over my page and I don't even know if I wanted to have sex with you.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. All the things.
Yeah.
You should see Yuli's face right now. But
he's dying. I'm sorry.
But all of that, like when I was rewriting my profile because I was like so fed up, I'm like, is this what it is about? So I rewrote my profile, which was a great learning in messaging and marketing.
Yeah.
So it started out with have your shit together and be confident and be able to handle a confident woman. Mm-hmm. Only one person responded.
That is so perfect. I'm going to put that shit on my Facebook page, right? Like have your shit together, be a confident woman, or don't message me.
Take it and tag me in it. So that's what I put out there. The one person who responds, I'm keeping him forever.
Do it. Put a ring on it. I love that.
So he's like, all right. So I read your profile. Got to tell you, kind of scared the shit out of me. Then I asked myself, do I have my shit together? Yep. Pretty sure I got my shit together and she's pretty. And that was it.
Do it. I love it.
Marketing and messaging. Messaging.
This is going to be a fabulous book, and I want to read it.
Okay,
I already want to read it. So
I think Yuli wants to co-write it with me because he seemed like kind of on board. He was shaking his head about the dating is like sales book. Before we get wrapped up with a couple other questions for you, first things first, tell our audience where they can connect with you, find you, all the things. Where are the best places to do that?
Yeah. Facebook and Instagram. Facebook Messenger is where I live. Like I live there.
Okay, cool. I will have
you can
to
go to my
website.
Yeah. You can go to my website too at brandonlanette.com. There's a email list there that I'm pretty good at keeping up with. So you'll know all the news anyway. Any exciting updates in my life, you'll know there. But Facebook is the place. And then all my books are on Amazon. So
okay, cool. That is awesome. Okay, a couple other questions. Signature questions Rachel would be asking right now. What is your definition of sexy?
Sexy. Ooh, confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Confidence is so hot. And I think just owning your feminine energy, like just being able to know that you're a fucking badass and you're still like, you have that soft feminine energy is just, that's hot too. Like I'm very attracted to myself.
I know. I'm kind of attracted to you.
Things.
Yeah, I kind of, you're hot. You're hot. I'm going to ask, you know what? Yuli, how do you, I'm putting him on the spot. He's going to kill me.
I wish I could see Yuli's face.
I know.
I feel like I'm at a disadvantage.
I'm going to take a picture and send it to you. Yuli, how do you define sexy?
You mean like, what does it mean to be sexy or what I consider sexy?
What you consider sexy.
That's the same thing, isn't it?
What do you consider sexy?
Women who understand nuance.
What does that mean?
Hello. Can you get a little deeper in that?
I'm being mean. It's funny because I was actually taking a dig at you guys because I just introduced the nuance and you guys are like, that's the same thing. And I was like, no, it's not.
All right, you want to try again and give us a real answer?
That is a real answer, though.
Say it again.
A woman who can understand nuance.
A woman who can understand.
It sounds like Brenda's going to roll her eyes. I am very
just because you said I'm not you just said I'm not sexy.
I'm a cerebral person. I'm very analytical. And I do enjoy, waxing philosophical. And it's, I can interact and get along with women who it's not their thing, but if you really want to find your way to my heart, then you can talk to me about very nuanced topics.
Oh, I like that.
I like that word.
I like that. That's awesome, Yuli. Thank you.
Intelligence is sexy.
And
here's the thing. Everybody's intelligent. We have different types of intelligence.
I disagree.
Right.
Oh, okay.
I highly disagree with that. Wait a second. Back
some people not intelligent. There might be some people.
I think not agree.
I think his point is like there's different types of levels of, right?
Yes.
And we don't all have the same interest.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. I like that, Yuli.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. I just want to put him on the spot. Okay. So, best advice you've ever been given.
Oh, get the fuck over yourself. Gary Vee.
Yeah. I love him. I love Gary Vee. I don't know. The 14-year-old got me into his YouTube show, Trash Talk.
Oh, I've not seen that.
He literally goes out to like all these yard sales and then resells things. And he's really big into mugs. Now we got this whole thing, hashtag mug life. So I'm always looking for mugs now.
Oh my God.
I know, it's
great.
crazy. I'm like, let me find a mug for 25 cents and sell it on eBay for $10 and I can retire. Oh, it's
nice.
It's crazy. Well, I grew up working in flea markets. My dad made me work in a flea market as a kid. So maybe that is the attraction to that show. Worst advice you've ever been given?
Oh, worst advice I've ever been given.
It's a new question I've just introduced to the show.
Yeah. God, that stopped me in my tracks. What is the worst advice I've ever been given?
I know for me,
not to try new things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, don't do the scary shit.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like the naysayers, right? Like,
yeah.
When you get that that advice and then like you might have taken it and then it took you down a completely different path. I had a business coach who I think I almost had to have therapy because of it. She literally said to me one day, I was in one program, I up leveled to the next program, right? You know how that works.
Yeah.
I go into the next coaching program that was like a shitload of money, like $30,000 a year, like insane. Right. Yeah. But that's where I was building my business. So it made, it made sense. And so I up leveled because I'd grown my business so much at the first level. Right. So in that level, you get a one-on-one coach with all this other stuff. Right. So I said, well, I have a very specific ask on the coach. I want this coach over that coach, which has actually shaped me because now that I oversee our coaching program, I learned so much from that scenario. So the guru of the company says, no, we're going to give you the other coach. And I'm like, I don't resonate with the other coach. I'm like, I'm not going to be comfortable with that. And she's like, well, she's going to be good for you because she's going to put you in your place.
Oh, okay.
Right. Okay. And I'm like, okay. And then she continues. She's like, because you have either a tendency to try to be funny or you're a bitch.
Oh.
Right. Right. Yeah. And I'm like,
nice.
Okay. I'm like, I don't know if you recall, but at that time, I'm like, COVID took me down. But for 12 years, I owned an improv comedy club. I'm like, well, you do know I'm a comedian, right? Like, that's part of what I do. So, no, well, comedians are comedians because they're insecure.
Oof.
Yeah, like she just like kept chopping me down. And then at one point she goes, and I don't know why you're trying to take this angle as a sales coach. You're not a sales coach.
Yeah.
She just kept chopping me down. She's like,
those are the coaches that give the industry a bad reputation.
Those are the guru coaches.
Yeah.
Those are the guru coaches. She's like, you're not a sales coach. This person over here, she's a sales coach because she used to work at IBM and this and this and this. And so she created this picture of what a sales coach could be and totally derailed me. And I bought into it. And for years, I was like, oh yeah, I'm not a sales coach. Okay, I'm going to follow the path. And lo and behold, I'm a fucking sales coach.
Yeah.
One of the top training companies in the world, right? So, if not it's when you listen to that shit, that bullshit, that bad advice because you're feeling less than or insecure with yourself, you got to, this is my advice to anyone listening, check yourself. Like, are you taking the advice because you're not confident? Go get a second, third, fourth opinion.
Yeah. My very first coach told me not to become a coach until I hit the top rank of a company in network marketing. She was like, you need to build your business before you could build your coaching business. And that was our last meeting. So
people
I feel that.
will try to hold you back. And what a lot of people had said to me in that situation was that person was jealous, was concerned that I was going to grow fast.
She felt your power.
Yeah. So anyway, I thank you so much. This has been great having you here. I feel like you may be back to this show, and I definitely know that we're going to be talking more. We're going to
talk.
For
sure.
So thank you so much for being here today. Warners, thank you for listening to this episode of The Women Your Mother Warned You About, sponsored by Sales Gravy. And thank you to Yuli for chiming in today as my producer and adding a little extra vibe to the show unexpectedly. If you love this episode, do us a favor, go out, share it on all the socials, especially if you are a woman like Brandon and myself and Rachel. Go share that out. If you haven't given the show a rating and a review, do that as well. You can find out more about us at womenyourmotherwarnedyou.com. womenyourmotherwarnedyou.com. That's right. And hey, earners are learners. If you have not checked out salesgravy.university, go check that out. I've got a couple courses coming up, selling with stories, and my what to say when you don't know what to say, and a bunch of other awesome courses to help you generate more sales. We're out of here, Warners. Bye, everybody. This really will get serious soon. Yeah, it doesn't have to. I don't think anybody wants it to be serious.